Welcome to the Rummage Report for April 20th, 2026. Today's topic is 8 children killed in Louisiana shooting. Jordan Progress kicks us off today.
Hey guys, I just read about this horrific shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana, where 8 children aged 3 to 11 were killed in what's being described as an execution-style incident. The shooter, Shamar Elkins, had a history of mental health issues and was going through a separation. It's heartbreaking to think that these kids, some of whom were trying to escape, lost their lives in such a brutal way. This is the deadliest shooting in over 2 years, and it raises serious questions about gun violence and mental health support in our country. We need to talk about how we can prevent tragedies like this from happening again. It's not just about the immediate horror, it's about the ripple effects on families and communities. The pain and trauma extend far beyond that day, impacting education, healthcare, and even job security for the families left behind. We can't just keep saying thoughts and prayers while doing nothing. There need to be policies that address mental health access and gun control that actually protect people.
Jordan, you're spot on about the ripple effects of this tragedy. It's not just the immediate horror. The trauma impacts everything from education to job security for families left behind. However, I think we need to be careful about how we approach gun control and mental health reform. It's easy to call for sweeping policies, but we should look at targeted interventions, like better domestic violence prevention and mental health screenings, especially for veterans like Shamar Elkins. These measures could help prevent future tragedies without getting bogged down in partisan debates that often stall real solutions.
Jordan, I agree that the ripple effects of this tragedy are devastating for families and communities. However, we need to recognize that the solution isn't just about gun control or mental health reforms. It's about a comprehensive approach that includes stronger enforcement of laws that already exist. Sam's point about targeted interventions is crucial, like improving mental health screenings and prevention programs, especially for at-risk individuals, including veterans. But we also have to face the reality that we can't ignore the role of crime and gang activity in these situations. The chaos at the border and lax immigration policies can lead to increased violence in our neighborhoods. We need to ensure our law enforcement has the resources to keep our communities safe. If we don't take a hard look at these issues, we're just putting a Band-Aid on a much deeper wound.
Sam, I get what you're saying about targeted interventions, and you're right that we need to focus on practical solutions like better mental health screenings, especially for at-risk individuals like veterans. But we can't ignore the systemic issues tied to gun access. States with stricter gun laws see fewer firearm deaths, and we need to push for universal background checks and red flag laws that can actually save lives. Casey, while I understand your concerns about crime and gangs, we need to recognize that the majority of gun violence is not linked to immigration, but rather to domestic issues and easy access to firearms. The focus should be on protecting our communities through comprehensive gun reform and mental health support, not just enforcement.
Jordan, you nailed it when you highlighted the need for comprehensive gun reform and mental health support. However, I think we need to consider how we frame the conversation. Casey's point about crime and gang activity is relevant too. While it's true that many shootings stem from domestic issues, we can't ignore that some violence is tied to broader societal factors. We should advocate for policies that not only address gun access, but also improve community safety through better resources for law enforcement and mental health services. For instance, funding for mental health screenings could provide early intervention for individuals like Shamar Elkins before they reach a crisis point, potentially saving lives and reducing trauma in communities.
Jordan, I agree that the systemic issues tied to gun access need serious attention, but let's not forget that enforcement of existing laws is equally crucial. States with strict gun laws still see violence. It's not just about the laws, but also about how we enforce them. We need to focus on comprehensive solutions that include not just gun control, but also supporting law enforcement in tackling gang violence, which is a significant contributor to these tragedies. If we can't ensure safety on our streets, all the reforms in the world won't protect our families. We need to invest in community safety measures and mental health resources, but we can't ignore the role of crime in these discussions.
The conversation. The discussion among Casey, Sam, and Jordan centered on the tragic shooting in Louisiana that claimed the lives of 8 children. They all agreed on the profound impact of such violence on families and communities, highlighting the need for comprehensive solutions. However, they disagreed on the focus of those solutions. Jordan emphasized the need for stricter gun control measures and mental health support, arguing that systemic issues surrounding gun access contribute heavily to violence. In contrast, Casey highlighted the importance of enforcing existing laws and addressing crime and gang activity, suggesting that these factors also significantly influence community safety. Sam sought a middle ground, advocating for targeted interventions and improved resources for both mental health and law enforcement. Worth thinking about. If we implement stricter gun control measures, how do we ensure that responsible gun owners are not unduly penalized? And what balance should we strike between individual rights and community safety? Should mental health screenings be mandatory for all individuals purchasing firearms? And if so, how do we safeguard privacy while ensuring public safety? In addressing gun violence, how do we effectively tackle the underlying social issues, such as poverty and crime, without diverting attention from the immediate need for gun reform? If you asked me, and remember, I'm a raccoon, I'd say it's time to rummage through the trash for solutions that actually work.